Brock Purdy is in his throwing motion here. The ball is about to come out of his hand and you can see clearly that his eyes are on the right side of the field, so he has to be throwing the ball to the right. His left foot is the only hint that something is amiss. As the play develops, we see Purdy's eyes stay on the right side, but his body is square to the opposite side of the field. Purdy throws across his body while looking in the opposite direction to where the ball is going to go. He completes the pass to Juwan Jennings just before the edge rusher gets home to hit him in the pocket. Jennings catches the ball, takes a hit, and finishes the play for a big gain. When we look at the wider view of this play, we can see that there was a clear purpose for what Purdy was doing in the pocket. He wasn't just throwing the ball blind for the sake of throwing it blind. You'd be surprised how many quarterbacks in the league actually do that. His eyes are trained on the left side linebacker. He's setting up to check the ball down to his drag route underneath that defender, but that defender isn't who he's actually concerned with. He's actually concerned with the other linebacker who Purdy doesn't want to tip off to where he wants to throw the ball. If Purdy's eyes followed the crossing route, or he took the time to reset in the pocket before throwing the ball, then that linebacker would sink deeper into his zone coverage on the opposite side of the field. He'd be exactly where the ball is thrown to. But since he makes a no-look pass, that linebacker mirrors the movement of the other linebacker and comes forward to cover the drag route. You can see from the end zone angle that Purdy looked at that linebacker early in the play before taking his eyes away. He takes his eyes away from him, but noted where he was in coverage before doing so. You can also see how dramatically both defenders are drawn out of position and the surprise in their reaction as they both turn around to chase after Jennings downfield. If Patrick Mahomes makes this play, we shrug and say, yeah, that's what makes him special. For any rookie quarterback to make this play is unbelievable. For a rookie with his pedigree and how much experience he has, it's probably unprecedented. Hi guys, just a quick note before we get back to a bunch of other interesting plays from Purdy in this game. I'd just like to note that the NFL takes all of the money that I make from these videos through copyright claims. For example, last week's Brock Purdy video should have made me around $500, but instead that money is going to help pay Roger Goodell's salary. So it's really important for me to build a large subscriber base so I can keep making these videos and earn money in different ways. Please, if you enjoy my content, take that couple of seconds to click like and subscribe. It helps so much. Thank you. Purdy is not a highlight reel quarterback or a spectacular athlete. He's actually incredibly mundane to watch because of how efficient he is in his setup. He always sets himself up to make the high completion throw because he gets all the little details right in what he's doing before he releases the ball. We get a great example of that on this play. Purdy catches the shotgun snap and hits the top of his drop in good time. He settles there, but keeps his back heel off the ground so he's always set up to move if he needs to. When the left side of the pocket begins to close backwards, Purdy doesn't drop his eyes, but he reacts by sliding away from that area. You can see that it's a small adjustment. He only relocates about a yard away, but that makes all the difference. It's also critical that Purdy didn't overreact or break his throwing posture here. As we can see when the play develops, if Purdy moved further back, he would have put himself at the mercy of the other edge rusher. He can fade away sideways as he releases the ball to find a passing lane that connects with George Kittle. The throw here is just a check down, but it's the right choice and Purdy had to work hard to give himself a clean platform to release the ball from. The precision and timing he plays with allows Kittle to catch the ball before the defender closes at the catch point, which allows him to turn upfield for the 12-yard gain after the catch. Kittle obviously makes the play, but Purdy has to set him up properly to do so. You can see him make a similar movement here with the pocket closing around him to connect with McCaffrey. It's only a short gain, but the short gain combined with avoiding a loss on the sack is a big play. It keeps the offense on course. Purdy should have been sacked on his first dropback of the game also. The protection releases a free rusher between the tackles to Purdy in the pocket. Something went wrong here. He had to adjust to a low snap as well, and he looks in the opposite direction to the pass rusher initially in the beginning of the play. Purdy doesn't have an outlet where he's looking that would allow him to get the ball out before the pass rusher gets home. He doesn't have an outlet anywhere to get rid of the ball at this stage of the play. As such, he has to evade the defender, and he does that expertly by waiting until the last moment, then cutting the angle sharply so that the defender's momentum carries him past the destination point. Not only does Purdy avoid the sack, he then throws the ball back across his body while on the move to connect with Kittle. Again, this is a play we shrug and expect from Patrick Mahomes, but where has this guy come from to do it? An important test for any young quarterback is how they handle three-man rushes. Purdy has shown he can react quickly and manage the pocket, but defensive coordinators will at some point throw in a three-man rush to try and bait the inexperienced passer into a big mistake, a big turnover at the right time. They normally do this in the red zone, and that's exactly where the Raiders tried it. The 49ers put all 5 receivers across the formation and have them release into route combinations outside the hash marks on both sides of the field. The Raiders show a 4-man rush, but the left side defensive tackle is going to drop into space over the middle of the field. Teams use 3-man rushes in the red zone because with an 8-man coverage, you can pretty much shut everything down. As the quarterback, you have to do 2 things to counter this. You have to hold the ball longer than you're supposed to, and you have to relocate behind the line of scrimmage so you can change the point of attack. If Purdy throws from the middle of the field, the defense is set up to stop it. The defensive tackle's presence in the middle of the field changes the leverage for the rest of the defenders in coverage. Once Purdy breaks to either flat, he changes the angle that the ball can reach receivers through because the launch point is now different. It's unexpected for the defense. Kittle extends his route all the way across from the other side of the field to come open in the back of the end zone. Purdy relocating bought him time to extend his route. The quarterback then makes a phenomenal throw to connect with him, clearing the defenders and receivers underneath. Purdy had one interception in this game where he missed a designed throwback to Kittle. It was a bad play, but not an egregious one or a red flag moving forward. Instead, he was mostly very accurate and safe with the ball once again. On this play, we can see him beat the blitz by showing poise to stand in the pocket at the top of his drop before pushing the ball past the linebacker who was reading his eyes in the middle of the field. We can tell by the linebacker's movement and Purdy's helmet that he leads the defender to his left during his drop back. Once he hits the top of his drop, Purdy turns back to throw the ball to Brandon Ayuk on the opposite side of the field. Even though he'll move that linebacker initially, the linebacker can recover, so that his throw has to be thrown high, but then come back down quickly for Ayuk and behind. But it can't be a touch throw because the deeper defender will then break on the ball if it moves slowly through the air. That means Purdy has to hit a tiny window that is above the linebacker's outstretched arm and low enough that Ayuk can still catch it. He hits that window with precision. Robbie Gould kicked a game-winning field goal in overtime in this game, but he also missed a game-winning attempt at the end of the fourth quarter. That attempt was set up by Purdy driving the offense down the field, picking the coverage apart without any help from play action or screens. He made plays in the most difficult situation for a quarterback to make a play. That's when everyone knows you have to throw the ball. Of the plays he made on that drive, this was the most impressive throw. Purdy has 4 vertical releases on this play, and nobody working the middle of the field. It's a very aggressive play call, but it does fit against this defense that is called because the Raiders are using a single high safety and off-man coverage across the field. That single high safety comes with a linebacker lingering in zone coverage underneath as well, just to make it a little bit more dangerous. Purdy looks at that linebacker when he takes a snap. The linebacker widens instead of coming to the middle of the field. That makes the quarterback's decision for him. He knows he's throwing to Ayuk's in-breaking route for the first down now. He delivers the ball with great timing and hits the tight window. The end zone angle reveals just how good the coverage was coming over the back of Ayuk. If Purdy misses this throw even slightly in either direction, the defender will be able to play it. But since it's right into the body of Ayuk, and importantly it's low down instead of up in the air to be attacked, there's only one outcome. Ayuk was Purdy's go-to receiver on this drive. He caught that 18-yard pass, another 12-yard pass, and 2 11-yard passes. One of those 2 11-yard completions was caught off a deflection. This is the other play where Purdy made an accurate throw. The Raiders didn't do enough to get Purdy off balance on this drive. They sat in cover 1 and expected the same approach to work, even though Purdy showed he knew where the cracks in the coverage were in it 4 different times. For this completion, Ayuk is lined up wide to the bottom of the screen. He and his slot receiver are both running slant routes. With a single high safety and a linebacker in the middle of the field, the cornerbacks are playing outside leverage. That means the slants are open. Purdy knows that. He also knows that he has to look past the slot receiver because of the linebacker reading his eyes to undercut that route. So he makes it look like a routine play, pushing the ball to the wider slant route for the first down. Opposing teams can't continue to treat Purdy like he's a backup who will eventually beat himself. If you wait around for that to happen, it simply won't happen and you lose the game. You've got to be really aggressive with your play designs and play calls against him. Use all the disguised blitzes you've got. Take big risks to try and make him misread the coverage, because otherwise he won't. But of course, it's much easier said than done, especially when the offense has George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Kyle Juszczyk, and many others in it. Beating the Raiders is hardly a notable result for the 49ers, and you could argue this is more of a concerning game than a comforting game since they went to overtime. But the Raiders managed to put Purdy in difficult positions over and over again throughout this game, and he responded over and over again throughout this game. He keeps answering every question that could be asked of him, and that can only be a positive moving forward.